Who's flying high? You know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling
Jeffrey Epstein on David. Jeffrey Epstein on David.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Chapter 1. Loomings. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse, and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail around a little and see the watery part of the world. It is a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypus gets such an upper hand in me, I strives a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's heads off. Then I counted high time to get to sea as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol and ball. With a philosophical flourish, Cato throws himself upon his sword. I quietly take to the ship. There is nothing surprising in this. If they but knew it, almost all men in their degree, sometime or other, shares very nearly the same feelings towards the ocean with me. There is now your insular city of the Manitos, belted round by wharves as Indian isles by coral reefs. Commerce surrounds it with her surf. Right and left, the streets take you waterward. Its extreme downtown is the Battery, where that noble mole is washed by waves and cooled by breezes, which a few hours previous were out of sight of land. Look at the crowds of water gazers there. Circumambulate the city of a dreamy Sabbath afternoon. Go forth from Corlear's Hook to Coenty Slip, and from thence by Whitehall northward. What do you see? Posted like silent sentinels all around the town, stand thousands upon thousands of mortal men fixed in ocean reveries, some leaning against the spliles, some seated upon the pierheads, some looking over the bulwarks of ships from China, some high aloft in the rigging as if striving to get a better seaward peep. But these were all landsmen, of weekdays pent up in Latin plaster, tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. How then is this? Are the green fields gone? What do they hear? Turn the page. But look, here come more crowds, pacing straight for the water, and seemingly bound for a dive. Strange. Nothing will content them but the extremest limit of the land. Loitering under the shady lee of yonder warehouses will not suffice. No, they must get nigh as the water as they possibly can, without falling in. And there they stand, miles of them, leagues. Inlanders all, they come from lanes and alleys, streets and avenues, north, east, south, and west. Yet here they all unite. Tell me, does the magnetic virtue of the needles of the compasses of all those ships attract them thither? Once more, say you are in the country, in some wide land of lakes. Take almost any path as you please, and 10 to 1 it carries you down in a dale, and leaves you there by a pool in a stream. There is magic in it. Let the most absent-minded of men be plunged into his deepest reveries. Stand that man on his legs, set his feet a-going, and he will infallibly lead you to water. If water there be all in that region. Should you ever be athirst in the great American desert, try this experiment. If your caravan happened to be supplied with a metaphysical professor, yes, as everyone knows, meditation and water are wedded forever. But here is an artist. He desires to paint you the dreamiest, shadiest, quietest, most enchanting bit of romantic landscape in the valley of the Seco. What is the chief element he employs? There stand his trees, each with a hollow trunk, as if a hermit and a crucifix were within. And here sleeps his meadow, and there sleep his cattle. And up from yonder cottage goes a sleepy smoke. Deep into distant woodlands winds a mazy side blue. But though the picture lies thus traced, and though the pine trees shake down its sides like leaves upon the shepherd's head, yet all were vain, unless the shepherd's eye were fixed upon the magic stream before him. Go visit the prairies in June, wherever on scores of miles you wade knee-deep among tiger lilies. What is one charm wanting? Water. There is not a drop of water there. Were Niagara but a cataract of sand, would you travel your 1,000 miles to see it? Why did the poor poet of Tennessee, upon suddenly receiving 2 handfuls of silver, deliberate whether to buy him a coat, which he sadly needed, or invest his money in a pedestrian trip to Rockaway Beach? Why is almost every robust, healthy boy with a robust, healthy soul in him, at some time or other, crazy to go to sea? Why, upon your first voyage as a passenger, did you feel yourself a mystical vibration when first told that you and your ship were now out of sight of land? Why did the old Persians hold the sea holy? Why did the Greeks give it a separate deity and its own brother of Jove? Surely all this is not without meaning, and still deeper the meaning of the story of Narcissus, who, because he could not grasp the tormenting mild image he saw in the fountain, plunged into it and was drowned. But that same image we see ourselves in all rivers and oceans. It is the image of the ungraspable phantom of life, and this is the key to it all. Now, when I say that I am in the habit of going to sea whenever I begin to grow hazy about the eyes and begin to be overconscious of my lungs, I do not mean it to have it inferred that I ever go to sea as a passenger. For to go as a passenger, you must needs have a purse, and a purse is but a rag unless you have something inside of it. Besides, passengers get seasick, grow quarrelsome, don't sleep of nights, do not enjoy themselves as a general thing. No, I never go as a passenger, nor, though I am something of a salt, do I ever go to sea as a commodore, or a captain, or a cook. I abandon the glory and distinction of such offices to those who like them. For my part, I abominate all honorable, respectable toils, trials, and tribulations of every kind whatsoever. It is quite as much as I can do to take care of myself, without taking care of ships, barks, brigs, gooners, and whatnot. And as for going as a cook, though I confess there is considerable glory in that a cook being a sort of officer on shipboard, yet somehow I never fancied broiling fowls, though once broiled, judiciously oiled up, and judgmatically sent to the ditty party. There is no one who will speak more respectably, not to say reverentially, of a broiled fowl than I will. It is out of the most idolatrous doings of the old Egyptians upon broiled ivory and roasted river horse that you see the mummies of those creatures in their huge bakehouses, the pyramids. No, when I go to sea, I go as a simple sailor, right before the mast, plumb down into the forecastle, aloft there to the royal masthead. True, they rather order me out about some, and make me some jump from spar to spar like a grasshopper in a May meadow. And at first, this sort of thing is unpleasant enough. It touches one's sense of honor, particularly if you come of an old established family in the land, the Van Rensselaers, or Randolphs, or Hardanicutes. And more than all, if just previous to putting your hand in the tar pot, you have been lording it as a country schoolmaster, making the tallest boys stand in awe of you. Turn the page. Transition is a keen one, I assure you, from a schoolmaster to a sailor, and requires a strong dedication from Seneca to the Stoics to enable you to grin and bear it. But even this wears off in time. What of it? Some old hunks of a sea captain ordered me to get a broom and sweep down the decks. What does that indignity amount to, Wade? I mean, in the scales of the New Testament. Do you think the Archangel Gabriel thinks anything the less of me because I promptly and respectfully obeyed that old hunks in that particular instance? Who ain't a slave? Tell me that. Well then, however the old sea captains may order me about, however they may thump and punch me about, I have the satisfaction of knowing that it is all right. That everybody else is one way or another served in much the same way, either in a physical or metaphysical point of view. That is, and so the universal thump is passed around, and all hands should rub each other's shoulder blades and be content. And then they should oil each other up and go to the ditty party. Again, I always go to the sea as a sailor because they make a point of paying me for my trouble, whereas they never pay passengers a single penny that I have heard of. On the contrary, passengers themselves must pay, and there's all the difference in the world between paying and being paid. The act of paying is perhaps the most uncomfortable infliction that the two orchard thieves entailed upon us. But being paid, what will compare with it? The urban activity with which a man receives money is really marvelous, considering that we so earnestly believe money to be the root of all earthly ills, and that on no account can a money man enter heaven. Ah, how cheerfully can we co-sign ourselves to perdition. Finally, I always go to the sea as a sailor because of the wholesome exercise and pure air of the foreskin deck. As in this world, headwinds are far more prevalent from wind than astern. That is, if you never violate the Pythagorean maxim. For so, the most part, the Commodore on the quarterdeck gets his atmosphere at second hand from the sailor on the forecastle. He thinks he breathes it first, but not so. In much the same way do the commonality lead their leaders in many other things, at the same time that their leaders little suspect. But wherefore was that had repeatedly said, turn the page, the duel of the turn the page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page, turn the page. Hell nah, turn the page. Ishmael, Afghanistan. Alright gang, this is a sad one, so no producer tag. Oh yeah. Alright. Here goes. Oh, my father. Yeah, he's dead.
What's that on that beat? Oh.
Jeffrey Epstein on David. Jeffrey Epstein on the beat.
Oh, babies gather around, oh, Uncle Rastus. I want to tell you something very strange. The color of the moon I'm going to change. And who is to blame? The white trash will go through all those what's easy. They think they are ignorant, I presume. The eclipse of all night will prove that I is right. There's a nip. You thought I was gonna say it, didn't you? You got fooled. This is not, you're in the wrong song, pal. This is actually the sequel to my greatest hit of all time, 6-7. Drum roll, please. Now presenting my next great hit, 6-8.
Jeffrey Epstein on the beat.